Rock me now. Rock me. Rock me. Hold me through the night. Rock me.
Rock me.
Rock me.
Rock me.
Rock me now.
What's up, Biggs?
Hey.
So, welcome to this edition of Fantasy Football ASMR.
Brought to you by Two Towns Cider House in beautiful Oregon, USA. This is the Cosmic Explorer edition of Original Cosmic Crisp, which actually is my favorite apple. And I had no idea that they were making ciders out of my favorite apple. So, working at a liquor store, I saw somebody buy some, and I was like, holy shit, that sounds great. It's my favorite apple. It's a better apple than it is a cider. So, go to your local grocery store, buy Cosmic Crisp apples, which, let's get down to some apple hybridology. The Cosmic Crisp apple is a hybrid that was created at the University of Minnesota in their agricultural department. And it's a crossbreed with anyway.
Honey Crisp.
Honey Crisps. Yes.
And I don't remember the other one. But they're a little tart, they're very crisp and very sweet. And they're very good.
They're perfectly balanced. It's the best apple I've ever had. And I grew up with like Red Delicious, Golden Delicious. There wasn't much more than that when I was a youth. And there was like Granny Smith and things like that. But the Cosmic Crisp is phenomenal. I love it. Almost as much as I love grapes and pears.
I want to say they've been working on that Cosmic Crisp for like 20 years or something like that. It's just taken them like a stupid long time to ramp it up to, like full commercial level. But that's been a long time in the making.
I am super impressed by your apple knowledge.
Oh,
Schultze.
See, we call them pums up here, so it took me a couple of minutes to figure out what you guys were talking about. So sorry.
Pommes de tree, as opposed to potatoes, which are pommes de terre. No, sorry, Mike.
Pomme d'arbre is what they're called in Canada. They're
apple of the earth.
Of the tree. And then apple of the earth
the potato is the apple of the earth.
Correct.
Yeah, the pomme de terre.
Pomme de terre.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what are we doing here? Are we talking about apples or are we talking about football? Because
we are, yes.
I don't know.
We're here to talk about football, and we've got some stuff to talk about. We got some stock up, stock down. We got some starts and sits this week. A lot has happened in the NFL this week, and I'm just going to run by the news.
It's Greinberg with the news.
There you go, Biggs. I was waiting for it. Jaden Daniels status up in the air for week 8. It looks like he's not playing. Mariota will probably get the start here. What are we thinking here, boys, as far as the Commanders offense without Jaden Daniels?
I don't like it.
Me neither. So is it a for sure he's sitting?
I wouldn't expect him to play at all. What's really pissing me off is that they won't give him the injury designation of out. So in my home league, everything is my lineup is in violation because I have him in the IR spot, and it doesn't like that. Fuck you, sleeper. Just like,
that's annoying.
I can't make lineup changes. I couldn't put anybody in for Thursday if I wanted to, because I would have had to drop a player because Jaden Daniels, who's not going to play, doesn't have that designation yet. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And also this is a spoiler alert for later on when we start talking about our sits.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got Nico Collins targeted for week 10 return. The Texans need him back real bad. We saw Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp come in on that Thursday night game. Puka looked pretty electric. What are your guys' initial thoughts on Puka coming back from his injury a little bit sooner than most people thought?
I mean,
He
he
looked
looked
like
great.
Puka.
Usage is all over the place. I really honestly thought for a minute he had a 60-yard touchdown, but I was wrong. I don't know where I must have got bad info on that, but no 60-yard touchdown for Puka, but he still looks great.
He does
looks
look
like
good.
Puka.
Yeah. And the fact that he's playing, I guess obviously the Rams knew what they were doing by starting him. And yeah, definitely no 60-yard touchdown. I'm not sure where you got that information from, Schultz. It must have been a burner account. But DK Metcalf doesn't look like he's going to be playing against the Buffalo Bills in a very pivotal matchup for both teams headed into Buffalo. Biggs, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on DK? Do you think he plays in this one? And obviously, JSN is probably going to be the primary target there. What are your overall thoughts on that Seahawks offense without DK?
I still love it, and also JSN to the moon. What we're talking about is Geno Smith, who has a incredible deep ball accuracy, Ryan Grubb offense, balanced by Kenneth Walker in the run game. Tyler Lockett is an okay fill-in. Will Dissly somehow, Noah Fant somehow has made himself like on the verge of relevancy. But Jackson Smith and Jigba can run every route, whether it's in the short, in the intermediate, in the deep. He can run from any part of the formation, whether it's lined up outside or in the slot or as a flanker in motion. He's going to be great. Ryan Grubb is going to scheme it. He's going to have a really, really good game, and I am starting JSN everywhere.
Yeah, me too. I like JSN's matchup. Now, Schultze, let's move on to the Dolphins matchup here, where Tua coming back, looking like he's going to be starting. What's your outlook on the Miami Dolphins wide receiver and the whole offense as a general, moving off this Tua injury?
I have like a little bit of concern only because in seasons past when Tua's had these concussions, like his play has kind of suffered long term, like a little bit. It's not been like insane, but like see little mistakes here and there that you don't see from him, just like random bad throws. Overall, like I said, I'm not super concerned. I think, and for fantasy wise, if you're holding the receivers or Tua, you're in a spot where you need big points right now. So if I've got them, I'm playing them because the chance is there for them to go drop 70. Like we've seen them do it. I mean, so yeah, if you got them, you probably need the comeback, and you need the playoff push. So I'm playing them.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have to play him. So Biggs, let's move on to the Buccaneers wide receiver room here. And there's a lot of optimism about one Jalen McMillan. We know that Mike Evans isn't playing this week. He's probably going to be out for close to 4 weeks at this stage. Godwin is done for the season. There's whispers about Sterling Shepard taking on the primary role there. So what's your overall outlook on the Buccaneers wide receiver room this week, but in general moving forward?
In general, moving forward, I have Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer stepping into the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin roles seamlessly. We saw from Trey Palmer last year, and the reason that I know this is because I've had him in a 32-team dynasty league for the last couple of years. And when called upon, Trey Palmer can be a very, very good wide receiver, a startable wide receiver. The problem is when you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in front of you, you're not going to get on the field very often. Jalen McMillan has been kind of suffering from the same fate, especially with injuries to him. He's starting to now get acclimated. Todd Bowles has come out and said that, yes, Jalen McMillan has been a little bit behind because of his injuries. The difference is that Jalen McMillan's talent and the way that Baker Mayfield feels about him are going to carry him into the wide receiver 1 position moving forward. You also have the emergence of Cade Otton, who in my home league, in my Dynasty home league, he is the number 1 most owned player across number of teams since we started our league. He has been owned by just about everybody in the league at one point or another. But this year he's finally starting to put it together, which it's year 3 or 4 for him. 3, I want to say. And that's about when tight ends start to kind of emerge. So it's finally Cade Otton time. I am totally I'm so gonzo for the entire Buccaneers offense with the absence of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, because I think Baker Mayfield's going to be able to make every throw. We saw what Rachaad White did last week. That whole offense is opened up, and we know the talents of Trey Palmer, Cade Otton, and Jalen McMillan, and they're going to continue to produce the way that they have been. The names have changed, but everything else is still the same.
The names have changed, the values don't, right?
Correct.
I feel like they do a really good job of scheming Otton wide open, like twice a game too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a very, very good target moving forward. Cade Otton is. I agree with that 100%. All right, let's move on to the Jaguars. Now, Evan Ingram was limited in practice, probably plays this week, Schultze. What about Travis Etienne? Limited in practice, suggests he might play in week 8. What are your what does the ear to the ground say about Travis Etienne and his chances of playing this week?
I would lean towards him playing because he kind of had a shot last week. Heading into that one, there was a stone's throw chance that he might go. So I think he does this week. It's such a confusing and weird situation because we've talked about the Bigsby thing where clearly they don't trust him in pass protection and running routes. He's not getting targets. He's not out there for pass pro. So it's a tough role to try and capitalize on when you're only used as a rusher, where that gives us the thought that Etienne's going to step right back in and take over the lion's share of the work here.
The Jaguars share, I think you mean.
The Jaguars share.
I see what you did there. I like it. Which makes all the sense in the world, right? So, but the other problem here that makes this situation sticky to me, well, there's two, is Tank is a better runner than Etienne for this offense. The offensive line isn't super great. They're not, like a zone blocking scheme that's just blowing wide open tosses out, like the Lions or something. I don't know if they run zone blocking, but you know what I mean. There's tough yards to be found on this Jaguars offensive line, and that's Tank's game, is between the tackles. He's got good vision, patience. He's better than Etienne at that. Etienne needs space. He's explosive. And so that's a problem, man. Like the math and the situation tells you that Etienne's going to step back in and get the work and the snaps. But the play style still lends that Tank needs to get on the field. And here's the real problem of the Jags running back room. One of the Jags guys I follow, I don't remember who, made the point of saying Etienne is your best pass catcher, Tank Bigsby is your best pure rusher, and Dearness Johnson's your best pass protector. And that's a problem, that all three are three different dudes who are best at each.
It's only a problem if Doug Peterson is your head coach.
That too. I don't know, man. I can sit here and tell you everything I just told you because that's what I know. I don't know what's going to actually happen.
Well, again, we're in the business of what's likely to happen, not what will happen.
No kidding. All
so
right.
what's likely to happen that I've been able to glean from watching the games, talking to you, etc., is that there are specific roles, and when Travis Etienne is 100% healthy, He is the go-to guy on the offense. When he has been out, Dearness Johnson has taken over that role, and Tank Bigsby has been like the Tank Bigsby. His role hasn't changed at all. It's the other two guys that are kind of cycling through what they're doing. Now, last week was an exception. With Etienne out last week, I expected to see more Dearness Johnson with Tank Bigsby taking more of the Tank Bigsby role, but Tank Bigsby got more of the Jaguars share, and he was doing more of the things that Etienne normally does. But moving forward, does that mean that they've lost faith in Etienne? Or if Etienne is 100% healthy, is he going to be getting the outside corner runs and breaking them like he's always done? Because it seems to me like that's the focus of the Jaguars offense. Play action because of the threat of Travis Etienne, and then you hit Evan Ingram in the middle. If both of those things are closed off, then you're going for Brian Thomas Jr. down the field.
Yeah,
it's fair, man.
And with all those pieces healthy and in place, this could be the week that the Jaguars finally get right. It just only took half the season.
could be the week. Hopefully, it's this one. All right.
I would also last note on the Jags is I would push back on some tank hype here after last week's performance. Big, you mentioned it was kind of an anomaly. In the second half, they were riding good, and they ran the ball like 24 straight times or something absurd. Literally never seen Doug Peterson do that, and it was mostly Tank. They mixed in Dearness some with it, but yeah, dude, I don't see that happening again.
Well, they were up. I mean, do you see that happening again?
Not big enough to be comfortable like that.
Exactly. I mean, they don't have many prime matchups like that. So I think that like you're right. Some of these games will be more Dearness Johnson worthy because he could be a better pass protector and he can catch the ball as well. So yeah. All right. Let's move on to our stock up, stock down.
Let's move on.
We've given the Jags enough.
I'll say nobody cares about the Jaguars. Let's go.
This isn't uncovered, so let's keep going. Stock up, stock down. Schulte, you start with your stock up.
It's Cedric Tillman for me. Now, this is a dude I really liked coming out of the draft last year. I still have him on a practice squad, and I can't wait to pull him up here. He just caught 8 for 81 on 12 targets, and there's a couple of reasons I like him. Obviously, you get Amari Cooper going out of town, and he kind of fills that same role as Amari Cooper. Now, obviously, he's not Amari Cooper, but like kind of that contested catch outside guy. He was a yards per route run hero there at Tennessee. I want to say it was over 3, which is pretty far above the threshold, and that's one of the big reasons I took shots on him because he was like, I don't remember, 3rd, 4th round rookie pick or something. So a guy who was near the top of that pack in yards per route run going that late, I'm sure I'm going to take a shot at it. Now he gets Jameis to play with him, and that's only going to help because this dude's the gunslinger and he's going to throw the ball, man. So like I said, he saw 12 targets. The stock price on Cedric Tillman heading in is very, very low. So we're going up.
That won't be the first that Jameis plays with.
There you go.
All right. I love Cedric Tillman. This year, so 2023, my big 3rd-year breakout was Nico Collins. In 2024, my big 3rd-year breakouts were George Pickens and Rashid Shaheed. Cedric Tillman is my big year 3 breakout for 2025. So get him now while you can. My stock up this year, this week so far, I already talked about is Jalen McMillan. I was huge on Jalen McMillan coming into the year. I said many, many times that all that was separating him from fantasy relevancy were the fact that Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were healthy. Well, now Chris Godwin's lost for the year. Mike Evans down for at least the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's Jalen McMillan's season. He's my stock up.
Yeah, he's a great stock up, and you've been touting his horn the whole time. They're big, so good on you. He's finally starting to get that momentum.
From August of 2023, I've been trying to tell people about Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, and you said that right away, and you're like, as long as he can get an opportunity, you weren't 100% convinced that either Mike Evans or Chris Godwin would finish the year, and that would open up an opportunity, and it's happened. And both those guys are out, so this could be a really big opportunity for him. Yeah, so my stock up here is a guy that I just continuously talk about this whole off season, and I love this situation, and it's continuing to evolve. Kamani Vidal, he's finding himself in a spot that he's becoming a force in that Chargers offense. He's emerging as a guy that I'm just going to continually to beat the drum for. His elite college career, coupled by the opportunity that could present itself in this Chargers offense. J.K. Dobbins has been the primary running back for the Chargers, but his efficiency after the first 3 games has, taken a dip here, and Kamani Vidal has emerged, and he's slowly becoming more of a force in this offense, getting more opportunities, and this is a stock up for him. He's going to continue that, and granted a injury to J.K. Dobbins in the latter half of this season, he could be the number 1 guy, and I had him as a bold prediction headed into this season that he would become the number 1 running back for the Chargers headed into 2025, and I'm still sticking to that. The things are happening that I was thinking that would happen. Gus Edwards now injured, and J.K. Dobbins may not have the steam that he needs, and I'm going to give the ball to a young rookie, and Kamani Vidal is that guy.
Do you think there's possibility that the legs just fall out from Dobbins at some point, coming back from all these injuries, and they're really riding him, man?
Yeah, and it's happening already. I think you're starting to see him kind of slow down here, and Vidal is starting to gain more steam, and I think it's just a matter of time before he surplants him.
Hope so.
Surplants, that's a good word.
Surplants. I was talking too far away from my microphone.
Who's your stock down, Schultze?
Oh, people aren't going to like this one, but it's CJ Stroud.
Oh, I hate it.
If you've ever, watched this program or ever listened to me, that's pretty cool. But, so second of all, you might know that I've been a downer on CJ Stroud. And one of the reasons for me this year was his price was out of control, being at, and correct. I just looked at Keep Trade Cut earlier. He rode most of the summer as QB3. And that was just outrageous to me for a guy who doesn't run. And my other issue with him was his rookie year here. He had only a handful of games where he either topped 300 yards or threw 3+ touchdowns. And for a dude who doesn't run, those are your benchmarks that you need to be hitting a lot to become a really productive fantasy quarterback, especially QB3. So those are a lot of the reasons I pushed back on it. And now he's a great actual quarterback. Don't get me wrong. And then you added Joe Mixon to the offense. There were reasons that this dude should not be being drafted as the 3rd quarterback overall. And now I want to say he's down to 4. No, he hit 4, and now I think he's down to 5. I still think that's too high. So going back to the thing I said about the 300 yards and the 3+ touchdowns, he's hit 300 yards twice. He's thrown 3+ touchdowns once so far in 7 games. That's not going to cut it for a dude who doesn't run. His highest amount of he has 94 rushing yards this whole year, right? Without a touchdown. So it's just he's never going to give you the points there, and he's not hammering home the passing yards like we need. And another huge concern to me is his home and road splits. Career-wise, it's pretty remarkable. Now, obviously, he gets to play half his games at home, which helps a ton. But I don't want a guy, once again, being drafted that high, who I can only rely on for half of my games, like fully rely on. You look at his completion percentage, 66.3 to 62.8. So that's like a 4% difference. But his touchdowns, 21 to 5 interceptions. He's 12 to 4. Touchdowns, super down. Passer rating's about 16 points lower. Yards per attempt is almost 2 yards lower. Air yards per attempt is 2 yards lower. Yards per game, 100 yards lower on the road. It's a real thing. And this is career numbers for him. It's not just this year. So I don't know, multitude of reasons why I just don't like this dude for fantasy. And we just saw it. He was not good this weekend outdoors in Green Bay. He threw for like 81 yards or something crazy. Like, he was bad.
That is hardcore fantasy analysis. And any of you who watch this show on the Fantasy Football Plus network and also the Undroppables network and watch our show, The Fantasy Forecast, which is a redraft show on Fantasy Football Advice Network, and I know you all do, we've all been out on CJ Stroud as a top 5-6 quarterback this year. I don't hate CJ Stroud's talent. I don't hate what he does to the Houston Texans. In fact, he has pushed them into playoff relevancy the last 2 years. It's funny to me that you are fading a division rival. But that notwithstanding, CJ Stroud has not been, he was top 5 this year, and we have all said at different points that's not going to be a thing moving forward. So I absolutely agree with you. Plus, with Nico out, like that offense doesn't function the way that it did when all pieces were there and healthy. So yes, stock down CJ Stroud, which you know what that means. That means he's a buy now.
Fantastic real quarterback. This compartmentalizing fantastic fantasy versus real player is a real skill to have.
I love how in terms of like playing the market, stocks up mean sell and stocks down mean buy. But on our show, stock up means buy and stock down also means buy.
There you go.
Unless it's
buy everybody we're talking about. Now, I'm talking about a stock down guy, and that's Xavier Worthy of the Kansas City Chiefs. Why is the stock down? Because the Chiefs just went out and they traded for DeAndre Hopkins. So everybody's like, oh, DeAndre Hopkins, he's been a wide receiver one. He's been an alpha guy. He was the alpha one in Tennessee. Now the Chiefs finally have an alpha guy. No. He's garbage. He's cooked. It's still the Xavier Worthy show as far as I'm concerned in Kansas City. So Xavier Worthy's stock is down. Go pick him up now. Buy him, trade for him, whatever. If you have DeAndre Hopkins, trade D-Hop, trade Nuke, whatever you want to call him, for Worthy. See what you can get. Go do it now!
Well, my stock down is Justin Fields, whose stock plummeted this last week as how well Russell Wilson performed, especially in the second half, igniting George Pickens' career essentially back into top 12 wide receiver talk now. And Fields came in, did well enough to win some games for the Steelers, 4-2, and now they're sitting at 5-2 with Russell Wilson at the helm, and that offense looks a whole lot more prolific as far as the passing game goes. Najee Harris looked rejuvenated with his second good game in a row, but it was off the back of a really good pass game, and I just think this whole offense is looking a lot better than it did when Justin Fields was at the helm. And I just think his stock is going down because now Russell Wilson has supplanted him in the quarterback room, and it's going to take a lot for him to, get back in the lineup here.
I just want to
really
say,
funny how as fantasy analysts, we all said, "Oh, Russ will start the year, and they'll have Fields in by week 6." And it was
No,
like
I didn't
literally
say
the
that. I
exact
said the
opposite.
opposite.
I know,
I
but
said
I'm
Russell
just saying a
start
lot of
and
us.
Fields won't come in,
Well,
but he was hurt.
a lot of
So I
people
was wrong.
said, myself included, Russell start week 6, 8. By then, Fields will be in there. Take a shot on him, and it was literally the exact opposite.
Mike knows when we had our first show with
Kuvatagas.
not Kuvatakis. What am I saying? Kuvatakis. With Marcus, when we had our very first injury show, and I was walking around at the church next to my house at 5:30 in the morning on my phone, and I was like, no, it's Russ. It's not Justin Fields. He'll be back. And then he wasn't back, and then he wasn't back, and then he wasn't back. But I called it. For the record, I do just want to say right now, start Matthew Stafford and Demarcus Robinson, because it's not like we're recording this show on Thursday night in the middle of Thursday night football. So yeah, listen to me. Start Matt Stafford and Demarcus Robinson, because if there's anything we know, it's that with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua returning, it's going to be the Stafford and Demarcus Robinson show.
Yep.
Also, don't fade Kyron Williams. Start Kyron Williams.
Or Puka Nacua. You want to start him as well.
God damn it. I hate football.
All right. Let's get into our starts and sits of the week, because this game's almost over and we're about to get live. Schulte, start us off. Who's your start of the week?
Jordan Love. Jaguars defense sucks. Jordan Love's good. It's a great scheme. Matt LaFleur is a smart football man. Jordan Love to the moon.
All right, Biggs. Was he just looking up your last show sheet? Is he copying your homework from?
No, and I didn't look at his either.
I'm just bugging.
We are high braining it. I'm going to say start Darnell Mooney. He's going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They allow 34 points more per game than the average. And then when we dig a little bit deeper, we've got the Tampa Bay defense, and they don't look great against wide receivers. They look pretty good against wide receivers, but they allow 15.4 out of the slot. And also, the last time I said Darnell Mooney was going to have a huge game, that was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he had like 30-something points. Why'd you erase it? That's not... oh, you didn't. I'm just kidding. What I meant to say was start Caleb Williams, because he's going to have to throw the ball a lot this week, and he's got all of his weapons. Cole Kmet, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, they're all out there, and he's looked a whole lot better over these last 6-7 weeks. Week 8, Caleb Williams, it's his time to shine. Start him.
All right. Yeah, after the bye, rookie quarterbacks usually do well, and same with rookie wide receivers. So I'm expecting Rome Odunze to come in and create a mark here as well after the bye. So yeah, good call there. I'm going to go with my start of the week is J.K. Dobbins. He's playing the Saints defense that allowed a very big game last week, and they're decimated all over the field. The Saints have struggled defensively against the run recently, making Dobbins a prime candidate for a breakout game. They've been torched by players like Sean Tucker and Javonte Williams, indicating a serious issue in their run defense. Their lack of effective tackling allows for big plays, and Dobbins has shown that he could break off long runs. So I'm expecting a decent game from him in a run-heavy offense. So look for J.K. Dobbins to explode this week again.
And Javonte Williams is a start also. Who's your sit, Schultze?
I don't know why I accidentally wrote Mooney there for a sit, because it wasn't supposed to be that. I was kind of thinking about writing him as a start. And then
that's the only reason that I talked about Mooney was because you wrote him there, because I wanted you to come back and say he was a sit.
No, and I realized when you did that, and then I was like, I messed up, because I was thinking about it. No, I messed up. I meant to put Danny Dimes as my sit, because I like Darnell Mooney, and I was
Okay.
thinking about putting him as a start.
There's
Anyway,
nothing wrong with sitting Darnell Mooney.
Well, that wasn't my plan.
Okay.
I'm not just gonna manufacture a take for you right now, man. Don't tell me what to do. All right. Danny Dimes. 1, he's not good. 2, Steelers defense, man, has been pesky as crap. And they get after the quarterback. The Eagles just absolutely harass Dimes in the pocket. TJ Watt's about to have a heyday. You can't run if the pocket is collapsed in your face. And the Steelers defense is just causing people some troubles here. And Danny Dimes is not playing well. And not a great matchup here. If you're considering Dimes, in like a start sit question, I'd probably be leading the other guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My sit is Terry McLaurin. Let's face it, Marcus Mariota is okay in fantasy because of his rushing upside, not because of his arm. Terry McLaurin, you had your day with Jaden Daniels. If Jaden Daniels is not playing, Terry McLaurin is not startable. That's it.
Yeah. And then I got an easy sit of the week here. It's Devin Singletary because you got...
I think you mispronounced that. Why don't you read the show sheet?
The show sheet says
Singletary.
Nope.
It's Devin Singletary.
It's Devin Dingletary. And shout out Amber.
Shout out Amber.
Yeah.
Right.
She coined the term Devin Dingletary.
All right. Devin Dingletary.
I thought he was just going to leave it at shout out Amber and not even explain it.
Yeah. Anyways, they're playing the Steelers, and Tyrone Tracy has emerged as the guy that I want to have in that backfield regardless. So if you're looking at starting Devin Singletary in a desperate situation, I would look elsewhere.
Same. All right. It's time for us to get out of here. We had another show
lined up.
Today is Friday.
Last
night when we were watching the Thursday night football game, we had to wait a minute. Yeah. Hope you win.
Hope you win.
Hope you win.